The current Dalai Lama is 90 years old, and eventually he will need to find a successor from whom he will be reincarnated. However, we're probably going to witness the last Dalai Lama because if he's going to come from Tibet, he will need to be approved by the Chinese Communist Party. That is insane because the Chinese government is literally trying to approve of spiritual matters and extend its power beyond what is reasonable beyond anything else. Now, let's obviously talk about who is the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is considered a Buddhism called a bodhisattva. It's a very fancy word for saying that he was a human being that was able to reach enlightenment. However, instead of breaking the reincarnation cycle and becoming one with Samsa, he chose to come down back in human form to guide people and help them reach enlightenment themselves, which is what the original Buddha did. And because the main goal of Buddhism is to break free from reincarnation cycle and become enlightened. The Dalai Lama reached enlightenment many years ago, and instead of just becoming one with Samsa, like I said, he chose to reincarnate into the next form. We don't know who the first one was, and right now the current Dalai Lama has been the Dalai Lama since the 1950s. He actually fled Tibet back when he was 23 years old because in 1956 the Chinese Communist Party invaded Tibet to make them one with China. He saw what was going on and said, nope, I'm fucking leaving this country. And currently, like I said, China controls Tibet, and China considers the current Dalai Lama a separatist because he fled and obviously didn't want to deal with communism because it's pretty bad if you've ever seen what goes on in China. And so China has repeatedly told the Dalai Lama that he can come back to Tibet. He'll be fine. They actually want him to join the right path. He'll just have to be brainwashed before he can do it. All he needs to do is confirm and accept that Tibet and Taiwan are inalienable parts of China, as if that will ever happen. So, the new successor will need to be approved by the CCP, and that's if he comes from the Tibetan country. However, the current Dalai Lama has said multiple times that he will be the next Dalai Lama will be reincarnated in a foreign country that is actually free. Oh, China did not like that one bit when he said it. They got pissed off. They need their own Manchurian candidate to be the next Dalai Lama. So they did not appreciate that one bit. In fact, the Dalai Lama's successor is known as Pinch Lama. Apparently, he was identified a few years ago, but he's been gone for a minute. I don't know what cell he's in China, possibly getting tortured. He's going to be raised knowing the alphabet of the CCP forward and backwards. Now, why does this matter? Frankly, there will be no political effects from this. It's not going to cause a world war. However, it just shows you to what extent the Chinese government wants to extend its powers. Because they're literally trying to decide matters of spirituality. And what are you going to do? Are you really going to try to police the spiritual world? That's insane, because that is what the Chinese government is trying to do. And not only are you surveyed and monitored every day in China, because there are literally cameras that tell you, smile, you're on camera. They literally want to control what your soul does at this point. And this Manchurian candidate is going to promote the Chinese party, and you're a little big brother. That's basically what they're trying to do. And this honestly might be the end of the Dalai Lama, the lineage. He might be the last one, and unfortunately that's going to be it. But hey, he's going to look good in red though, and a sickle and hammer. But what do you think? Do you think the Dalai Lama is going to have a next successor, or is China going to be evil as always and just off him? That's all I got for today. Bye.